Okay, here are 5 tips to instantly step up your photography game. So the first thing to talk about on the list is lighting. Don't be that guy who doesn't pay attention to lighting, because lighting can be a huge part of your image. Yes, you can have like the highest resolution, best camera in the world, or you can be using a smartphone. But realistically, the only thing that's differentiating the style and look of your image compared to someone else's is the lighting, because that's really what tells the story. And if you don't have light, you're not going to be able to see your subject. You're not going to be able to see the thing you're taking a photo of. And the angles can really make the contours kind of stand out on the object, and it can really just change the style. So make sure the lighting is right. So a really good starting point is to look into 3-point lighting. So that's what I'm using right now. So basically you have a key light, which is the main sort of light that lights your subject. I've got one here, it's a softbox. That's pretty much lighting the majority of my face. However, because it's coming in at an angle, I'm going to have a lot of contours, a lot of shadows on this side of my face. And then in order to fill those shadows and brighten them up a little bit, I've got a fill light over here. So that's just sort of brightening it up and overall just making it a little bit more balanced, so it's not too harsh on this side of my face. And then something really great to enhance the depth of your image and to overall make your subject pop is to add some backlight. So in the back there, I've got my monitors on, I've got some LED strips, I've got some colors going on, and that's really separating me from the background. You don't want to be shooting a shot where your subject's just in front of a white wall, where there's no depth, there's no colors, there's nothing sort of separating the foreground and the background. And this is quite easy to do. If you don't actually have lights, you can easily move by a window, you can use that as your key light, and then you can use a lamp as your fill light. It's quite easy, and you just need to add things in the background, maybe even a laptop or just a flash on your phone pointed through like a diffuser or something. You could easily make some backlight. Just mess around in your room, try figure out what looks the best, and honestly, it will immediately improve your images. The second thing we're talking about is angles. You don't want to randomly fire your shots. You don't want to just randomly look at something and fire shots at it. You want to think about it a little bit. You don't want to take the easiest picture. You don't want to just take it from waist high or chest high. You want to experiment a little bit. If you're taking pictures of small objects on a table, typically getting down low or getting close to them can actually make them look a lot better than if you're taking them from above or further away. If you're taking a picture of a car, sometimes actually shooting up at it, shooting quite low down can be really nice, because obviously if you're standing up, you're going to be quite tall looking down at the car. And if it's a sports car, if it's quite low, you want to get down low and take that picture looking up the way. It'll make it look a lot nicer. It's going to add this sort of empowering look. I recently took some photos of my friend Chris, and when you're taking pictures down at people, it can often make them look kind of sad or lonely. And so taking pictures up at them can make them look bold and successful, and overall it's just going to look better. So definitely, whatever you're taking a picture of, think about it. Just add a little bit of thought. Just take 20 seconds, a minute, and just think how am I going to shoot this? What's the best way of going about doing it? Number 3 is depth. So I talked a little bit about that before with the lighting situation, but you want to try and add depth to your shot. So something really nice is you can do a reveal. So if you're doing some B-roll or a video, you can place your subject behind something. So you can put like a wall or a lamppost or some object in front of your camera, and you can move to reveal the object you actually want to show off. And you can do this for pictures as well. If you want to take a picture of something and it's in the background, maybe even a car, you can sort of get the lamppost in the edge of the frame, and this can add a little bit of depth to show how far away the car is. You can even place something in front of the camera. You could even place your hand or like a playing card or like a knife, or realistically anything. You could even put your smartphone screen and kind of get that reflection. Something I really like to do is get down low to water, and then you can get that nice reflection. Overall, it makes pictures look really, really nice. But you could even shoot through a window, get those reflections in. You could put a glass in front of your lens. You could just try out different angles. You could even get some filters. Pretty much just try and add some depth, add some color, add something a little bit quirky about your image to get the dynamics looking a lot more interesting. And talking about making the shots more interesting, now we move on to framing. You want to frame the shot to make it look good. You don't want to have clutter in the way, but you also don't want to have your shot too boring or too simple. Often when I record top-down shots for my smartphone videos, I put props in. You want to spice it up a bit. You want to make it look nice. You go to a show home and it's got all these fancy beds and tables and chairs, and you're not going to have those when you move in, but it's just to give you that look. It's to give you a nice appearance when you shoot some pictures or post them online. Just looks nicer than a bland, plain old room. So yeah, add props to your shot. Don't be afraid. You know, if you're shooting something of yourself, put a plant in the background, turn on your monitor, set a nice wallpaper, do something a little bit different that you wouldn't normally have. And especially if you're doing top-down shots, yeah, just put like a book in frame or a pen or your laptop or a keyboard. It can really spice up the whole image. And if you're centering the subject and having all those props around it, yeah, it can definitely make things look a lot nicer. So the final point, number 5 on the list, is focal length. Now you may think this is only for the big dogs, people with DSLRs, people with big lenses, but no, it applies to your smartphones as well. Often phones now have multiple cameras. You often have macro cameras or wide angle cameras or standard lens cameras, and these give you different looks. You know, maybe if you have a small object on a table like a coin or some sort of tiny object like a dice, then you may want to use a macro camera. You may want to get close, show the detail of that. That can look nice. But if you're taking pictures of a room or a landscape or astrophotography, then you're going to want to use a wide angle lens to get more in the shot. But again, for taking portraits, you don't want to use wide angle because then it's going to make things look stretched out and you're going to look skinny and distorted. And so you're going to want to use a telephoto lens. Have you ever heard the phrase, the camera always adds a few pounds? Well, they were probably using a telephoto lens because if you're using a wide lens, then it's going to make you look thinner. So it really depends on the look you're going for. But there's no rules, honestly, in terms of which lens for what. You can always kind of mix and match and just try to see what looks good. So yeah, think about the kit you have, whether you can capture the shots you want. You often can, you know, if your lens is too zoomed in, just move further away. If your lens is too zoomed out, just move a little bit closer. And obviously the distortion is not going to be the same, but if you don't want to spend a ton of money and you want to capture that shot, then just go ahead and do it. So thanks for watching. I also have some tips on how to capture smooth handheld video. If you're interested in any other videos, just go check out the channel. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. Peace.